What's going on, my Patreon family? I had to bring the homies back in because we got some mess to talk about that's going down here. And it would be the state of Florida. It would be the state of Florida. And it would be black folk in the state of Florida on this bull jive out here wilding in these HBCU streets. I mean, the sad part about it is what's going on at BCU is another addition into the niggatry that happened within these HBCUs. It's not a good look. It don't help the branding. It don't help to sell people to come to the HBCUs, the top tier talent. It don't help. But they out here doing it anyway. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the saga between Ed Reed and the Bethune-Cookman University. Ed Reed was his contract was ratified, nullified. They was torn up. They said no, they're not going to allow him to coach the BCU team this upcoming season because of a series of videos that he put out ranting about the conditions, the horrible conditions at BCU. Professor Carl Tone Jones, Patrick Irvin, we in the building. What's going on, fellas?
Yo, what's good, brother? You got us on a Friday night, man. You know,
Man,
I normally be cruising. No, I'm just joking.
I'm not. I do normally be in my car driving around looking at the air.
yeah, I usually be working on some videos anyway, so might as well. But I appreciate y'all joining me, and we got something good to talk about. So I have audio I have audio from Roland Martin's show, him interviewing the BCU president, Ed Reed, and players from BCU. Now it's like hour worth of audio that I compiled. I'm not gonna do it all, but we're doing this breakdown style. So we're gonna play a bit of him talking with the president, gonna give our thoughts, play a bit of him talking with Ed Reed, give our thoughts, play a bit of him talking to the players, give our thoughts, and overall sum it up. But it's a messed up situation what's going on. So let me give you some context if you don't know. So late December, Ed Reed was it was agreed upon, I guess, a gentleman's agreement that he will become the next head coach at Bethune-Cookman. And by Saturday, January 21st, Ed Reed announced via his Ed Reed Foundation, his Instagram, that BCU, his relationship with BCU has soured. He would not be the new head coach at BCU. And this is due to videos that Ed Reed released. So apparently through social media, people was trolling him and calling him, saying he was mudding the campus. Basically, he was using the BCU name. He was using the HBCU. He was using the brand. And that triggered him. So he went live, and it was laced with curse words. It wasn't the best look. I agree. It wasn't the best look. But it needed to be said. I ain't mad at him for saying it because I probably would have said it too. But he released a series of videos talking about the conditions, and some of it had rap music in the background. So the president was like, "This is a Christian university," but y'all had Glorilla performing. Oh yeah, I did my research. Y'all had Glorilla performing during y'all homecoming step show. So don't tell me it's a Christian university and you mad that Ed Reed had rap music playing in the background when y'all invited Glorilla to perform at y'all homecoming step show. So don't tell me you're a Christian university. But basically, the president is saying Ed Reed's behavior is a violation of the agreement that they set upon and the morals and the values of BCU. So he will not be allowed to be the president. And from that, the fallout is happening. And not only Ed Reed, but the students and the players are exposing the horrible conditions. They are existing in mold and mildew, rats, roaches, torn down conditions. Things are soaked, watery, everything. And they're exposing their grievances through social media. Recently, the students, Monday, the students had a protest in support of Ed Reed, and Ed Reed is getting a lot of support from different people around the country. And he's also getting some opposition from people in the media like Shannon Sharp. So Ed Reed and Shannon Sharp had a back and forth. Still not a good look because black folk fighting again, right? And then I have some audio from an ex-teammate of Ed Reed's and and an alumni and ex-football player. I guess he was one of the BCU's best football players. He's in the Black College Football Hall of Fame. Stevie Baggs. I have audio from Stevie Baggs giving his opinion between what's going on with Ed Reed, because he and Ed Reed had a back and forth through social media. And so it's a lot of things that's going on. Basically, black folk fighting again. But it's all due to some niggatry. So this is what we getting into. So I'm gonna start off with audio of Roland Martin. I'm not gonna play the whole segment, but Roland Martin and the president of the BCU. Then we're gonna talk about it.
That caused a lot of consternation among HBCU folks and Bethune-Cookman folks, because he was highly critical of the university practices there, was complaining about conditions of the university, trash and things along those lines. And when he made the announcement on Saturday that he was not going to be the head football coach, students, then football players, launched a petition that they signed asking that he be returned, be hired as head football coach. Today, there was a rally on campus from students complaining about other conditions at Bethune-Cookman. This is not the first time the university has had controversy. They had significant financial issues, almost lost their accreditation, and many have said that the problem there is its board of trustees. Alumni are engaged in a lawsuit with the board of trustees. It's a lot of things that are going on there. And so what is the current state of Bethune-Cookman? What is the administration saying about what took place with today's protest? Joining us right now is the interim president of Bethune-Cookman, Dr. Lawrence Drake. Dr. Drake, glad to have you here on Roland Martin Unfiltered. And so there's several things that I want to cover over these next two segments. And so let's just walk through this. Ed Reed said he did not want to step down. He was not pulling out. Whose decision was it for him not to become the head coach? Was it you, the interim president, or was it the board of trustees?
It was the interim president. It was my decision.
It was your decision?
Yes.
And so why did you make that decision not to move forward with Ed Reed?
So we, as you know, about Sunday, a week ago, well, let me back up. Actually, starting in December, we were working on a contract for naming Ed Reed as the head coach. I interviewed Ed, and I had three important things that I asked him to ensure that he was willing to do as part of becoming part of the Wildcat family. One was, I needed him to really understand that we were a Christian institution, that behavior and character were clearly our priorities. And I asked him if that was okay with him. Could he abide by that? Could he, position himself as a role model for our student athletes as well as for the university itself? He indicated he would. Second question I asked is, well, great, I'm glad you're willing to do that. I need to know if you're also willing to build the kind of program that will allow you, because you've not been a coach before, this is an opportunity for you to be a head coach your first time. The university is giving you an opportunity to do that. And therefore, we want to surround you with the kind of people that can draw up the X and O's and help you become a stronger coach. He said, I get that. And I'm willing to do that. The third thing is, I said, this is not University of Miami and it's not the NFL. We just came through 2 hurricanes, $6 million worth of damage. Much of what we've been working on for the last year and a half is improvements not only to the university's infrastructure, but also a long-term investment plan. We have about $100 million that we need to invest in the university over the next several years. We said to him, look, you're going to become part of that. Are you open to helping us do that and build the program? He said yes to that. So when we saw the first video criticizing the university and saying, well, it's trashy and my office is dirty and all that, first of all, he was an employee of the university and he had not an office. When the last staff moved out, we started renovating that building. Everything from the coach's room.
See, it's funny. Ed Reed had not been hired as the head coach. He's not on the staff. He doesn't have an office, but y'all got him recruiting players.
He said in the last coaches meeting that he slept in what would be the head coach's office. So y'all letting somebody that's not an employee sleep on campus.
Right. And I just want to show y'all something real quick before we go further because he talking about their Christian institution. So, you know, I don't be lying, right? I try not to say, I try to only talk about what I know, right? So, a Christian institution, that's real Christian, ain't it? Who is that? This is Christian? Is this Christian?
I'm actually watching that right now, like the actual, you know, and she got some non-traditional black folk on the stage dancing with her.
I'm just saying.
And we all know she don't make Christian music.
Rick Ross ain't Christian. Trina ain't Christian. Terrence J, he played the line. This one of these new rappers that ain't Christian. Desi Banks, come on. Yeah, okay. They not. I don't really know their names, but yeah, they not. They ain't. This ain't Christian material. So
and hold on, let's keep in mind, this is October, November of last year,
this
2022. This
right.
is like a month or two before Ed Reed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's before they lost the FAMU too.
Alpha.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it. So, but I just wanted to show y'all how Christian they was, you know, for their homecoming. So, but back to the president.
Rooms to the other places. We had given him some permission that he really took to the next level. First of all, he wasn't authorized to even take video. He wasn't authorized to do any of those things, but he did them anyway. The university had to take responsibility for that because it happened. But quiet as kept, you know, that isn't the kind of behavior that we would expect. And then the expletives and the, you know, those kinds of things in that first video, you might call that an aberration. And I would say it could be. And you have to be a forgiving individual. But when you have this much damage, you look at the gym and you look at this video and you look at it critically. But I would invite anyone to come to our campus because all parts of our campus don't look that way. We are really trying to work hard to clean it up. And given the fact that, again, we suffered 2 hurricanes back to back, and because of supply chain issues, because most people in Florida, particularly Central Florida, are still recovering. I have people from my staff living on our campus because their homes were destroyed. Ed didn't take those things into account.
Dr. Hold tight 1 second. Continue our conversation with Dr. Lawrence Drake, who's the interim president at Bethune-Cookman. Dr. Drake, you were talking about the conditions, him not being allowed to shoot video on campus. What was it the second video? What was the final straw? What caused it where you made the decision that we're not moving forward with Ed Reed as coach?
I think the final straw was actually the 3rd or 4th video, one with the background music being booties, butts, and boobs, and hoes. And, you know, we have 65% of our campus is female. And my view is that we are trying to build young men.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. To my lip smacks, Drake.
No, he said booties, butts, boobs, and hoes. Did he say hoes?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
So he forgot to censor that one.
Because he Christian. Oh, okay. And he smack his lips.
Okay.
I think hoes is in the Bible.
Respect black women. We're trying to build a culture where they understand that people can say whatever they want to say, but we think you can do anything respectfully. And when we think about the culture that we're trying to build, that we have companies and partners like Disney and some of our other partners calling saying, what are you going to do about that? We can't support that kind of image. And of course, they're one of our biggest sponsors for the Classic.
So you're saying Disney, officials with Disney called you complaining about Ed Reed and saying we can't support Bethune-Cookman if he is going to represent the university?
They didn't say we can't. They questioned what we were going to do. And I think that was an appropriate way to approach it, but they weren't the only.
So were they implying that they would pull support if he continued as head coach?
I think that as a leader, you have to make the decision. And if they are inquiring, they have a vested interest. They believe in the image that they want to project. And you have to think, what are the possible outcomes of you continuing to do what you're doing? But here's the bigger point. And
that's what That's the part I wanted y'all to hear. I wanted everybody to hear him say that. So I football. We look, man, look. What's crazy is the first thing come to my mind is when Georgia won a national championship, right? They released audio of Kirby Smart, his pregame speech. He profaned. I ain't gonna lie. It was a fire speech. It was a fire speech. Now, good speech, but profane laced, way worse than what Ed was going in. But I think this is more about BCU's pride being hurt. Let's just call it what it is. It's BCU's pride being hurt that they were exposed for the conditions that they have. Because according to the students and the parents and some of the alumni, they've been ignored for so long. Because all of these conditions were there before Ed Reed got there. They were there before he got there. So, I mean, could he have put the video out in a different way? Yeah, he could have, but he didn't. It came out the way it came out, and it needed to come out. I don't think he should be fired. I think BCU's pride is hurt, and this is their retaliation to their pride being hurt because not only the President Drake, but Reggie Theus acting like one of them as well. So, you know, it's the board, it's some of the administration, Reggie Theus, President Drake. They are against Ed Reed, and they butt hurt that they've been exposed for the conditions. I mean, like, what have you all been doing to make the conditions better? You got players talking about their players and students are existing in mold. And then he's one piece of the clip. It's not mold, it's mildew. oh, yeah.
Because that's better.
Yeah. So
it's healthier. You know, the funny is one of the things that I see with this is you have bourgeois Negroes who did not recognize that Ed Reed was not a bourgeois. He was rich, but he wasn't bourgeois. And the way that's typically handled is if you remember Drumline, the movie, when they kept talking about when the president of the university kept scrutinizing the brother that was the professor that was running the drum line or running the band.
Yeah, the bald head dude.
Huh?
The bald head brother.
Well, no. It's the brother that the actual brother that was actually the professor that was the doctor that was
the band director.
The band director.
Gotcha. Orlando Jones. Gotcha.
Yeah. Right, Orlando Jones. And one of the things that I noticed when I saw that is the whole idea of what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? And I recognize that especially when we talk to bourgeois black people, they really don't give a damn about the internal mechanisms. It's like watching a clock that's broke, but I'm gonna shine it up and it's gonna look good. It don't work, but it look good. And I want the whole world to see this big shiny clock and look at it and think of us in a prestigious way, but the shit don't work. And we're not even concerned about fixing the mechanisms. All we care about is if this work. Ed Reed came in and said, hold on, man, the clock don't work. And he showed people behind the wall of the clock. He pulled up the glass, he pulled it over, opened the door, and the mechanisms was all over the place. And that's where you're talking about in terms of their embarrassment, because it's like the emperor has no clothes. They got exposed. And that's the real reason why they didn't finalize his deal. And it makes everybody look bad. Reggie Theus as the athletic director. And because the attention didn't go into straightening that situation out. The president, because when you read some of the comments that was in that particular video that he shot with Roland Martin, there were people who said, I was a student at BCU. And one of the things I noticed was my financial aid was messed up all the time, But when I walked past the parking lot, it was full of Mercedes Benz and BMWs. So, you know, we kind
I
of
mean,
know.
but that's the typical HBCU store, right? But this is let's be real, man. They got scared that for one, they got butt hurt that they was exposed. For two, they got scared that them white folk was gonna pull their money out. That's why he was like, well, Disney called. Disney didn't tell them to do anything. Disney just asked what you gonna do about it. He took it upon himself. What Disney told me. What they if they saying that they want me to fire him, so I might well go ahead. You see, because Roland Martin asked him a direct question, and he gave him a whole ass answer.
Yeah, and that's kind of my approach with it. It's two things. One, I think I when I first heard it, I was like, all right, you could have cleaned this up a little bit. But after thinking about it, I'm like, nah, Ed Reed did it the way it needed to be done. Because Deion Sanders did it clean. And we glossed over it. It kind of, you know, people didn't really go at Jackson State, and at this point they kind of had moved on. If Ed Reed had handled it the same way Deion handled it, he would have got the same. It would have played out the same way. The
conditions wouldn't have got better.
Right now, this university is forced to deal with it. And the problem they're having is the same problem we have in the Black community with a lot of other things, right? I don't want to fix it. I just don't want to know it's there. Like, I know it's a problem, but don't show it to me.
Yeah.
The fuck you doing? And so even with that, like, I'm looking at this motherfucker talking about what the president. I'm listening to him, and Joe, you did it right, man. With the master said, I was like, yo, if this ain't some coonery type, buffoonery type shit, I don't even think Disney called, if we being honest.
bruh, I'm with you. I think he made that up.
Right. This motherfucker is he's talking, and because he didn't have the balls to stand on something that they actually said. He was just like, well, they reached out.
Right.
Well, motherfucker, that could be an email. Maybe you sent them a message.
Yeah,
maybe
they asked me what we was gonna do.
Disney
So I took it
vacations.
upon myself to fire him. What?
Right. Like, but even to that, like we always talking about Black universities, and this is a conversation we had in one of the breakdowns, right? We were talking about how HBCUs are almost all of the big ones are doing their damnedest to become the Black version of a PWI. That's what this is. This dude is basically saying, yes, we're a Black institution, and you should entrust your Black children to us, but we are beholden to white zaddy. I learned that word from PC and Joe, by the way. But anyway.
No, not me.
Take full responsibility for that.
But that's what it sounds like, right? Like that's not
what it sounds like. That's exactly what it. You heard him. That's exactly what it is, bruh. That's exactly what it is. Hold up. Let's play it again. We gotta listen to him say it.
And that people can say whatever they want to say, but we think you can do anything respectfully. And when we think about the culture that we're trying to build,
let me back it up a bit.
Was it the second video? What was the final straw? What caused it? Where you made the decision that we're not moving forward with Ed Reed as coach?
I think the final straw was actually the third or fourth video, one with the background music being booties, butts, and boobs, and hoes. And, we have 65% of our campus is female. And my view is that we are trying to build young men to respect Black women. We're trying to build a culture where they understand that people can say whatever they want to say, but we think you can do anything respectfully. And when we think about the culture that we're trying to build, that we have companies and partners like Disney and some of our other partners calling saying, what are you going to do about that? We can't support that kind of image. And of course, they're one of our biggest sponsors for the Classic.
So you're saying Disney, officials with Disney called you complaining about Ed Reed and saying we can't support Bethune-Cookman if he's going to represent the university?
They didn't say we can't. They questioned what we were going to do, and I think that was an appropriate way to approach it. But they weren't the only.
So were they implying that they would pull support if he continued as head coach?
I think that as a leader, you have to make the decision, and if they
if
they are inquiring.
Anyways, but even to that, right? He support you. You hear the support he gave for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
That was the correct way to handle it. The way they handled it. They probably didn't, but even beyond that, so 65% of your community, of your students are women. So what are we saying that hoes can only be? I got a question. I'm gonna let y'all finish that thought however y'all want to finish it. I got a question. When Glorilla performed, did she perform "Fuck Nigga Free"?
Most likely, that was the top song. That was a hit song at the time.
So I'm and I don't know. Maybe Glorilla got a maybe she got a Christian version of "Fuck Nigga Free" that I'm not aware of. You know, fornicating sin free or something. I don't know. But are we not concerned about the image and the self-esteem and whatever the black males on your campus that's got to, because every last single one of Glorilla songs is degrading to black men. Every last single one of them. I haven't heard a single song she's put out that's not degrading to black men in some way. And you yourself took it upon yourself to not say ass, not say breast, but you didn't have a problem saying hoes. In fact, you came back to the list to say hoes. You had left the list when you said booties, butts, and boobs, and you went on, and then you came back to say hoes. So I gotta believe that you don't have a problem with hoes. I don't know. I'm gonna leave all of these half-finished statements, the thoughts out there for y'all to finish them.
The name is Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant. These hoes ain't loyal,
bruh. So, I will never advocate for sending your child to BCU while that type of fuckery is in leadership.
Well, I think what's worse is you saw how the Stephen and Fetches aspect of it. Disney scared jump, and he said how high. In fact, Disney didn't. Disney gets to be clean with this. Disney, because he said they questioned him, but Disney didn't give him any direction. All this shit fell on his lap.
Mm-hmm.
And as interim president, he's not even going to be there to, you know, and I don't know if we're going to get to it, but dude is set up for.
Ed Reed got into it. Yeah, he might not even be there. He the interim president. He might not even be hired to. He might be a placeholder. So this reminds me of what happened at FAMU when Dr. Elmira Mangum was let go. Elmira Mangum was she was the president. I forgot the year, but she was the president of FAMU. She was a good president, doing a good job, but she rubbed people the wrong way because she didn't make. I was in a meeting. And this white dude said that she was fired because she rubbed people the wrong way. She didn't make friends.
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all hire her to run an institution properly to make sure children are educated, or did y'all hire her to be friends?
They hired her to be friends. That's what NPC knows is better than all us. The bureaucracy that goes into higher education.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, as a person who's a graduate from an institution to where a spineless interim president is continued to be put in place and then eventually made president. When you have that in place, you know, of course it's controlled by the board and all the other people, because look, I mean, by the powers that be, it's controlled. It's not a HBCU, it's a WHBCU now.
So, John, let me ask you a question. Is this the end of the president's
the president got a lot more. But I do want to go. This all I wanted to play from him. Then I was going to want to go to Ed Reed.
Okay, so I want to speak on the president for a second.
Go ahead. Yeah, do your thing.
The president spent the whole time. I watched his interview, and the president spent the whole time spin doctoring this whole conversation away from the fact that they were that they didn't really have grounds to dismiss Ed Reed. So he went into conversations about scholarships. He went into conversations about the alumni association. He went into conversations about everything else. He skipped dilly the whole conversation. We're not addressing the fact that he didn't really have grounds to dismiss Ed Reed. Now, if you want to say